You guys can hear me typing? I didn't find my necklace. Oh shit, I didn't know you guys can hear me when this was on the streaming page. I'm sorry. It is a mechanical keyboard. Damn, I didn't know that. I gotta be careful next time I yell at my kids. Well, since you guys can hear me smoke, I might as well just put it out and get started. I can't believe you guys can hear me. I didn't know that. Don't I feel stupid? Hey, Bernie. Whoop. I just paused myself. I seriously had no idea you guys could hear me. Come on, stupid thing. Start already. There we go. Alright. So I only have like an hour and 15 minutes because I have to go to something for my kids at school. But I do have to say I am so proud of my daughter. She has no like formal training in theater. And a lot of her friends do. And she's the only one that got into the intermediate and advanced production for high school next year. So I am so proud of her, and I want to say that publicly. So I really am. I'm like, I can't even believe she did it. I guess it runs in the genes. Thank you, Liz. So being that there's like not that much to go over, but I will say that I did read it quickly because I had to work until 1. Then I had to clean, then I had to take a shower and get ready, and here I am. So I did read it kind of fast. It is Proud Mama. I am so proud of her. Some bitch at school was like, why did Sage get intermediate and advanced? She doesn't even have any formal training. I'm like, because she's a drama queen, and it's natural talent, I guess. So, but yeah, I'm really proud of her. And like her dad's side, they're all theater like background and stuff, so I really think it may come naturally. So yeah, I'm so super proud of her. I'm so psyched for her. So okay, so let's get started because there's a lot. There's not really a lot, but I know you guys have questions. People from Making a Murder are gonna have questions about it. So I did take some notes. I did write some notes. To sum it all up in one nutshell, it's really not that much anything that we don't know. In the end, what she's asking for is overturn the conviction and get him a new trial. I'm going to start at the end and go backwards because the end is where I have the biggest problem. So Zellner, all right, so let me backtrack for all you guys that may be new to Making a Murder or whatnot. So Kathleen Zellner, his attorney, they found a violation that the state did against Avery's conviction. And she went to the appeal board. Originally it was denied. She went to the appeal board, and the appeal board said, we agree that's, we want answers. We want to know what's up, what happened. So after like going back and forth, the state, the appeal courts decided, hey, you know what? We want answers, and yes, you can file a motion to find out what's happening with the bones. So, and like I said, I read this fast. I'm going through this fast, but there's really, it's pretty self-explanatory. Honestly, a couple things I picked up though, that is what I want to discuss. So she's asking Judge Bitch, who I don't even say her last name, for a recuse. If you don't know what a recuse is, what a recuse means is that a judge is taken off a jury, taken off the case, and another judge is appointed. Every state is different about why a judge can be recused. So, and I'm sorry that I'm not like really looking at chat at the moment just because I'm going through notes that I put down. So I'm trying to explain it like as easy as I can. And like I had a recuse on my case because the judge was against me. The problem is, in a small town, if you recuse a judge, you better hope that the next judge is not like her best friend. I went to jail for 30 days on a recuse. Like, I recused a judge, the new judge hated me and put me in jail for 30 days on this contempt, which I should have never gone. But because he was probably mad at me, because, people think judges will always do the right thing. Judges are human, and they look out for each other. They really do. So it's hard with a recuse because you never know if you're going to get somebody honest next or if you're not. So Zellner filed for this recuse against the judge using Wisconsin Code of Judicial Conduct. And in Wisconsin, what they say is that, like, if you presided over one case, then you can't preside over, the same case in a different court. What that means basically is if Avery was trial in Wisconsin and his county was Manitowoc, it was Calumet. Let's say they moved to Milwaukee and Judge Bitch moved to Milwaukee. She still can't, like, if she was assigned to the case and she was already on the case, she can't take it. She has to recuse herself. So that's what Zellner's using. And the reason why she's using it is saying that she gives this whole thing about, that everything is based on principle and independent and fair and competent judiciary with interpret and apply the laws that govern us, blah, 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 blah. So she's saying, though, that because Willis, who presided over the case in the criminal trial, couldn't reside over the civil case when the Halbachs were going to sue Avery. So he had to recuse himself from that case. So what Zellner is saying that since Judge Bitch was the one that was presiding over the civil case, then she has no right to sit on the case now. But she's wrong, because that civil case never came to fruition. So I really don't see how she can use the fact that just because she was assigned to it, but it never happened. So if I know that, I'm sure the state's going to say that. So the state does not have to let her recuse herself based on that alone. The second thing she gives, which I also found was absolutely preposterous, was that her and Kratz. Now, I don't know how big Calumet County is, but it's not that big. Judges understand that judges always played golf with each other. They go boating together. Judges, lawyers. I mean, that they're in like a league of their own, but that's what they do. And I know it from my own town, like that's what judges do, that they're humans. They hang out with the lawyers, that's why lawyers never want to piss off a judge too much, because you're going to preside over that judge in that town. So she's trying to say, because her and Kratz, let me get to it. Oh, I didn't copy it? All right, I'll just tell you then. She's trying to say because her and Kratz were in a like domestic violence thing together between 2007 and 2008, that disqualifies her. That is the stupidest thing I ever heard. That is perfectly normal for judges and lawyers and prosecutors to be together. She knows that. So that makes me think she's grasping at straws. Could Judge Bitch recuse herself because she's a nice person? She could. She could feel that there's a conflict of interest. She could. But based on what Zellner wrote, she doesn't have to. Are we hoping she does? Yeah, but who knows? Somebody worse can come in. But then again, you think about it, I don't think there's anybody worse than Judge Bitch to begin with. So it is an old boys club, Liz. I agree with that. But I just know that there's... the reasons she gave are not going to hold up if Judge Bitch does not want to recuse herself. If the civil case would have come to pass, then absolutely she would have a leg to stand on. But it never even went to court. It was dropped. So there's no merit there. And it just, I wouldn't say weirds me out, but it kind of surprises me, and it gives me sadness that that's all she has to go on. You know, like, she's not using the fact that Judge Bitch is completely biased. She's not using the fact that Judge Bitch, you know, hates Avery. Like, I personally could think of 1,000 other reasons why she could have used, because I don't think she's going to win on that. I really don't. And it really surprised me that she didn't put in more. Now, obviously, Zellner's an intelligent attorney, and maybe there's a reason she didn't, but I just didn't like that. Because those reasons alone will not win. And if Judge Bitch doesn't want to leave. All right. So the notes that I took was Zellner definitely goes for the throat and holds nothing back in the intro. She blatantly calls out the state for being liars and frauds. She goes into how the state was trying to convince the jury, and they did, that Avery was connected to the crime by stating Teresa was solely killed in the garage and burned in the burn pit, which Zellner is totally disproving by the state showing that the bones are from the gravel pit. And later on in the motion, it's interesting because it seems like Buting knew it in his closing argument, but yet does nothing to stop it. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right. And I only have about 10 minutes of notes, and I'm going to go through all the questions, so don't think I'm, like, completely ignoring you guys, because I'm not. But it's easier if I just go through it and then, you know, take any questions and stuff. Zellner is disproving the state, showing that the bones are from the gravel pit, were Teresa's. Now, this is not way that, there is no way, sorry, I wrote so fast that I can't read my own damn writing. There's no way that Stephen burned her and then moved the bones from outside of his property onto his property. That's ludicrous to think that somebody would do that. It's stupid. And I think even guilters can agree on that nobody's going to be that dumb. In the original trial, the state said that those burned bones in the gravel pit were animal bones. They said that they were not human bones, and therefore they didn't matter. And Strang and Buting basically said, you're right, it doesn't matter if they're not human bones. I firmly believe, and I didn't read the appeal she wrote, the motion in set detail. I kind of skimmed it because I only have so much time in a day. But I don't remember skimming over anything that said that they definitively tested them, but I do think that they did test them. I think they lied. And she may have written this, but there's no way that they handed over bones if they hadn't tested them. So I think everybody, including Buting, knew that those bones were human. And the reason why the state said those were burns was because of what I said. Nobody's going to move them back to, your own property if they're on another property. So the issue, though, isn't, and I don't want anyone to get confused, this is not Stephen's appeal. This is not Stephen going back to court for, Stephen being free. The only issue in this 41-page document is really that the state completely screwed Avery when they returned the bones to the Halbucks in 2011 without giving notice to Mr. Avery or his counsel, which violates Wisconsin Statute 968.205 and the April 4th, 2007 court order. The 2007 court order was that they would hold the bones for preservation until they find out what happened, until they can test them. And in case you don't know what's going on, if they were going to give the bones to the Halbucks, then the state had to tell Avery's attorneys, and they never did. That's what this whole thing is about. What else? On page 2, in summary, is what we already know, that if the state gave back the bones from the gravel pit, then we know 100% that they're Teresa's bones. Then it goes on with what the appeal court granted. The reason she puts all that in there is just to remind, the judge that's looking at it like, this is what the appeal courts want, so you better give it to me kind of thing. Then she goes on to state about the stress of the importance of the bones in the gravel pit and how Kratz basically blew it off. When Kratz eliminated other burn sites, you know, they kind of just skimmed over the entire like process in the trial to prove that, yeah, she was killed in the garage and, you know, her bones were burned in Avery burn pit. And then in Brendan's trial, it was different, but same thing. And then she gives testimony of, you know, Eisenberg. Basically, the takeaway from the whole thing is that we know the bones were from somewhere else. The state lied. More evidence of the pit. And then it goes on about things the state did wrong, which is the next like 25 pages. She goes on about how the state violated and is really wrong with clear and convincing evidence, stating all the case law from Wisconsin that proves over and over and over that they violated. The best part of the entire documents is asking for the recuse. That is the entire order, the entire motion summed up in 20 minutes. I told you I can get it out fast. I know that Tracy Strenzi's doing a live at 6. I'm sure Eric Hosey and Travis are going to be on later. If you want a 3-4 hour explanation, go for it. But that sums it all up right then and there. So now I will turn to you guys for questions. Easy breezy. Hey, Brady. Brady, you just missed my whole synopsis. I belong to a support group for Avery and Brendan. Believe me, Light Truth, I'm sure we know all of them. Now, if you want to belong to a support group, you should go to Making a Murderer Uncensored on Facebook, because that's my group. There you go, Janelle. You are a strong hater of his and discuss his child. Not cute. I'm causing no trouble. I'm here to hear about Avery. Leave me alone. What's going on in chat? That he poured petrol on a cat and threw it in a bonfire. He didn't strangle a girlfriend. He didn't want to build a torture chamber. Give me a break, Highland Coffee. Alright, so what questions do you guys have? Whitney, it was short and sweet, and there's going to be people giving all these different explanations, and some people like all these drawn-out explanations. There's nothing in there we don't know. The only thing that I think might be confusing is the end where she recuses Judge Bitch, or she's asking to recuse Judge Bitch. That part stuck out at me because she's not going to win based on what she said. Unless there's some part of Wisconsin law that I'm not understanding, but I don't think there is. So Brady, you asked me if I was going live. So what questions do you have? I mean, it really was just explaining everything in detail. Anybody that reads it, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, there's no new evidence in it or anything. She's just regurgitating, you know, like pounding into the state or pounding into the judge why he needs a new trial based on X, Y, and Z. What happened to the bones? The state violated Avery's due process by saying in trial that the bones were not that they were not Teresa's and that they were animal bones when that was a lie. And they gave the Hallback family the bones before they were supposedly tested, but obviously they were tested. And this motion is based on the fact that all the state did was lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. And they violated his due process. And it's undeniable that they denied it. Like, there's not even a question anymore. It's blatantly obvious they denied his due process. I don't know much about the case or any of your views. Do you think he's innocent? You know what it is? In my heart of hearts, do I believe he's innocent? Yeah. Can I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt? Absolutely not. Did he not get a fair trial? 100%. Does he deserve his conviction overturned in a fair trial? Absolutely. If it turns out that, hey, you know what? He goes to retrial and the evidence is there and he's guilty, I'll say he's guilty. I'm not embarrassed of it. but he did not get a fair trial. And it is our right and in our justice system to get a fair trial. And he did not get one. CW is over in discussion. Not totally over. I didn't say it was fact. I'm telling you that what is being reported here in the UK, a new book has been written. Highland Coffee, there's always books. I mean, and what you said was true to a certain extent, but everybody makes mistakes. And he served his time for that cat. Does she represent Stephen? She just represents Stephen. She doesn't represent Brendan. Don't have any questions in particular. Just want to see it. Brady. So for those of you that aren't that familiar with the case, the bottom line is, in our justice system, every single one of us could get railed by undue process. You know, like we can be a target of a false confession. Our kids could be a target of a false confession. You just never know. And this case, I mean, like, they have 2 people that are in jail for it. Both were tried for the exact same crime. Yet the circumstances of both are completely different. One was convicted because she was killed in a garage and burned in a barrel. In the second conviction, she was raped, she was murdered, she was stabbed, her hair was cut. There was not 1 ounce of DNA evidence. He was also convicted. And she was killed in the bedroom in Brendan's confession, like in Brendan's trial. The whole case is just so bizarre. No, there's physical evidence that connects Avery. There's no physical evidence that connects Brendan. But there is physical evidence against, the whole case was tried on forensic evidence. The thing is, though, about this case is when you really connect the dots of this case, it doesn't match up. When you really connect it, they're innocent. There's so much, like, I mean, it's too much to get into now, but there's so much about this case that just makes you like, what the fuck? How did these even get convicted? Like, it's just so bizarre. Why both convictions? They needed one. They needed Brendan to secure Avery. I have 12 and 16-year-old daughters who are very into the series, and the way you explain it, cover it really helps. You're welcome, David. Yeah, because, I mean, I find that my viewers are pretty intelligent people. They can read documents and see what it means, you know, and understand what Zellner wrote. But there's little things like at the end that people may not understand. So that's why I picked out what I really thought was important. We don't know who really killed her, Bernie. Zellner has disproved that evidence, but I agree too much to get into today. I have 200 videos, about 200 on this case, and interviews with forensic science people and who believe that he's guilty, by the way. It's all up in the air. And you don't know who killed him. You really don't. I find it hard to believe that if she really believes that it's Bobby, I mean, I said it was Bobby a long time ago, but that if she really believes it's Bobby, why she hasn't gone after him. Hey, Diane. I mean, that kind of like, I don't know why she's not going after anybody, or maybe she'll do it in a new trial. I have my doubts about her a lot, but I don't think that she's dumb. I mean, she's an amazing attorney, so I do think she's got something up her sleeve for trial. That could be it. It may not be it. Amy, there's a lot of people that think he's guilty. Every piece of evidence doesn't answer who done it. It actually makes more questions. Most of it, you're right. I think the biggest question that everybody has is how the hell did Brendan end up in jail for this long? We're doing good, Diane. I think that's like the biggest question. Like, how is that even possible? Any theories on who could have done it? I've always said Bobby and Mike did it. Just like, Zellner never had Mike Osmondson, which is Bobby's best friend, on the radar, where I had him on my radar from day one. There's a lot of reasons I think he's guilty. I hope Golightly shoots you. Nice. I fucking moron. What? I know, troll. It's not even talking about Golightly. And I actually just got a beautiful message from John from Barbie. That's what I thought at the time. I don't think we'll know who did it. I don't think we'll ever know who did it, to be honest with you. But it's okay. Ask me if I care. I don't. Leanne, I agree. I'll give people one guess who I think that was. Casey are my favorite. Thanks, Amy. Bobby didn't kill her. He knows who did by association. Possibly. What the hell going on about? Diane, nothing. I did not find the charm. And I don't know why Silence Girl left. But I'm going to be on Diane's channel tonight at 8, by the way. I actually toss between Mike and Bobby and them together. If you go back to my videos from way back when, Hooded Claw, that's what I'm saying. If you go back to my videos from 2016, I explain why I believe it's Bobby and why I believe it's Mike O. There were too many lies, and as much as I would like to say I think Scott's totally guilty, I don't. I think Scott was just a extra in what happened. I think Scott helped clean up the mess, but I don't think he was actually involved. Hey, Phoebe. Right, Moxie? I tell you. Guys, Green's gone. I got rid of him. You can't. I have never thought Ryan was guilty, ever. I think Ryan was involved in a cleanup. I think Ryan was involved in the helping Kratz and stuff, because I believe that somehow he thinks that Avery's really guilty, but I never thought Ryan was guilty. And, I know that Ryan is, such the obvious choice, but for some reason, he just never struck me as guilty. I don't know why. Thank you, Cooper. I honestly don't know why. I just never had a gut feeling that it was him. What's next? What's left to file? What's next to file is the state has to answer this. I think she went for the throat when she said she's asking for an overturned conviction and get a new trial. In one half, I don't see how the state can deny it, but somehow I think they'll find a way to deny it. But she just went right for the throat punch. So if it doesn't go back to the appeal, this is what I think is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is the state's going to fight it and deny her. She's going to go to the appeal board. The appeal board is then going to decide, was the violation worth getting him a new trial, or was it a technicality that does not deserve a new trial? If they agree to give him a new trial, then the appeal will be overturned and he can get a new trial. Or they can agree with the state, depending on what the state says, and say it wasn't a major violation, and it'll go nowhere. That's the two things that'll happen. The state doesn't have to file? Yeah, but the state is going to file. The state's not going to say, okay, let's overturn his conviction and give you a new trial. That's not going to happen. The state is going to fight her motion, which means the state is going to file. Doesn't mean they have to, but they're going to file. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. When I say the state, the judge. Technically, yes, I'm not speaking the right terms, just like when I say Supreme Court and Appeal Board. But the judge is going to deny it, or the judge is going to fight it. Somebody's going to fight it. They're not going to say, okay. Do I think he'll get a new trial? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Do I think that they're going to roll over like Chris Watts did? No. Do I think they're going to say, sure, based on this, let's overturn his conviction? I think they're going to fight it until the appeal courts say you have to give him a new trial based on Wisconsin law. That's how I think it's going to go down. And again, with the judge, she could recuse herself, which I don't think is going to happen, or she's going to fight it. She's going to fight the recuse. Basically, you don't know what the next... I just gave all the scenarios of what the next step could be. So yes, I do know what the next step is. The next step is the judge is going to fight it because they're not going to just roll over. She's probably not going to recuse herself. Zellner's going to fight everything, and it's going to be up to the appeal board. It's exactly what's going to happen. The next step in the court has to say if they want a response from the state. That's what you just said. But Travis, you're doing the long-winded carry out. I'm not doing that. I'm giving a basic summation of what is going to happen. There's only a few things that could happen. Period. And what am I wrong about? I'm not wrong in speaking of the judge isn't going to recuse herself. The reasons that Zellner gave are not strong enough for her to do it unless she wants to do it. The civil trial never happened. That's not a reason. It never happened. If it happened, then it would mean something, but it never happened. So it never went to court. She never presided over it. Being assigned to it and presiding over it are two different things. I know they did. I want the lotto numbers from them. Lisa, what do you mean? Is there a time frame in the courts to respond? Whitney, I'm not sure about the legality. Being that it's like appeals and stuff, they don't have like a year. It's either 30 or 60 days or something like that. You know, the next step is, you're wrong about that period. The next step is to Judge House to determine whether they want a response from the state as the next step. Travis, every single time an order comes out, you tell me I'm wrong. I've been right. I've been right on every single order since you came into Making a Murderer. Just because I don't give every single step does not make me wrong. I've already given every scenario of what can happen and what's going to happen next. Please stop. And again, Travis, again, the state, it doesn't, all right, let me rephrase that. I don't care if the state asks the judge. People don't give a shit if you want to get that into detail. At least my view is they don't care. They just want an answer. They want a summation of what is going to happen. There's a possible scenario of what I said, that the state is going to respond. Whether the state has to ask the judge or not, people aren't that legal. They don't give a shit. In my opinion, and most people's opinions, it's the same thing. You're getting the same answer without the legal dilly-dally behind it. If the state answers, then the state answers. Nobody cares if the state has to ask the judge. You're still getting the same result. Oh, damn, we're talking about making a murderer. I guess 30 days for... Well, Charlotte, the thing with the state, with appeals and even courts, I learned this. An appeal court, a judge is rarely, I can't say never, but they're rarely ever going to not give an extension due to they know that the lawyer may have other cases, that the lawyer, is busy. Not that the lawyer's on vacation or anything, but even if they are on vacation, they can also get an extension. But they could have got caught up with a murder trial they did. So, they ask for an extension, they'll usually grant it. Very, very rare will they not grant an extension. Good one, Sean. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Sean. You know what it is? I'm not saying Travis is wrong. He's not wrong, but the way I explain things, we don't need... If the outcome is still exactly the same, we don't need the little details. We want the outcome. We want this, surmise the whole thing. Judge has 90 days to rule on the motion or advise the chief judge they require more time. Okay, so it's 90 days. Travis saying it's 90 days. Hey, Edward. That's why I said I didn't know the exact time frame. But 90 days seems long. Hey, Lucy. I'm following Stephen Avery since first wrongful conviction. I said he was innocent then. No, Travis trying to drag this live out like any lawyer does. Nope, we're not doing it. As long as the end result is exactly the same, it's all that matters. I don't care about the stupid little details. Yeah, 3 months seems too long. Somehow I think it's going to be less. And I am giving a brief time, but there's really nothing... There's no new evidence in this motion. There's nothing new. It's a simple... Give me the baby, not the labor pains. Exactly right, Leanne. I used to do the same thing. Nobody wanted specifics. Some people do, Moxie, but to me, it's just... I don't... Like, that's... There's nothing new here. There's, every single one almost every single person that watches me, I find are pretty intelligent people. They can read emotion and, read exactly what it means. They don't need, the stupid little details that nobody cares about. If the state needs to write, they don't care if the state has to write the judge or not. The bottom line is the state's going to answer. So it doesn't matter if the state's going to write the judge or not. Do you feel Zellner having the case? Is there... Oh, absolutely, Lucy. Absolutely. There are no deadlines currently except a 90-day deadline for a judge to reach a decision, which a judge can extend. I thought... Yeah, no, I guess they didn't. I was going to say I thought the Supreme Court gave them a deadline, but I guess they didn't. And Lucy, I agree with you. If Zellner walked away from this case, he's screwed. There's no other lawyer that could do what she does. I absolutely agree with that. 110%. And I really hope that she's able to succeed. Like, truly succeed. So there's no deadlines in the place right now, and therefore no need for an extension. But in Wisconsin and every other state, there are certain deadlines, though. There are written deadlines that you have to answer a motion. Like in Iowa, you only have 14 days to answer a motion. If you need an extension, you can get 30. Most states are 30 to answer a motion. So, Travis, I actually think you're wrong. The appeal board may not have given deadlines, but there's deadlines in every state to answer a motion. And if the state wants to write the judge to answer a motion, there's deadlines for it. They can't wait a year. So you are wrong there. I just said to look and see if they can even find a bone. Oh, that's done with, Edward. They did all that already. Their bones were given back to the Hallbox in 2011. I'm loving the Ursula Kratz. I love his attorney. She's excellent at her job. I agree. Does that petition we sign help with the judge being recused? No. Or in the end, does she have to recuse herself? Technically, she has to recuse herself. Zellner can fight it with the appeal board if she decides not to. I think you can appeal that. Like I said, I don't think Zellner's reasons are strong enough at all. And that's just an opinion. The USA law is so different here. Oh, it's way different. 90s for a judge to rule. She can actually extend that as much as we want. Um, 90 days to rule for what? 90 days to rule if she's going to give him a new trial? Absolutely, I agree. But that doesn't mean that that the state has set amounts. The question was, does the state have a set amount of time? And that's why I was saying yes. As far as the judge goes, that I don't know. But you're right, I don't think she does. Hey, Atria. But I think that even though the state doesn't have, even though the judge has time, Zellner can ask for it to be honed down, I think. Thank you, Amy. So the takeaway basically from the whole thing is that I feel she put on a really, really good case about the all the reasons that the state. How long did she take to rule on the computer desk? I don't know. 2 weeks? Not even? I think she ruled immediately. She ruled pretty much immediately on everything. The biggest takeaways that I have from this is Zellner did a really, really good job of pointing out every single detail of what is wrong. She honed in on every single part of a violation, crossed every T of that violation, dotted every I of that violation, spun it around 36 times, filled it up on 25 pages of, she left no stone unturned. She, was so intricate and wrote it so many different ways that it's impossible for somebody to say, but you forgot this part. No, she covered all of it. There's no second guessing at all whatsoever. That she did an amazing job on. To me, that's the biggest takeaway from this. the part that I don't like is what I said. I don't think she's going to win that recuse based on what she gave. Purple does have a Discord. I don't use it, but I don't have like a whole channel like Irakozy does, no. I don't have time to do all that. But I do have a Discord. I like never use it. I have a Patreon page, I have a Facebook page, I have a Twitter page, I have like 7 Facebook groups, millions of chats, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, I think she was asking if I had like something like what's his name has, like Irakozy has, like a channel dedicated to making a murderer. If I knew about Discord in 2016, I probably would have, but I didn't really get into Discord till 2017. And that's because I'm a gamer. I mean, I even think I have a server, but I just don't use it. You can also join me on Steam. It is the most petition, whatever. Same thing. Thank you, Diane. What's the difference between a motion and a petition? Yeah, let's not forget the 3 kids and a full-time job. You're right. And 2 dogs. Travis, I understand this process. I have not been wrong yet. You can sit here and tell me what an idiot I am. And meanwhile, I have been right on every fucking motion to date. So do me a favor and please stop. Go back to Irakozy then. I really don't need it here because I have proven that I have been right on every fucking motion that you tell me I'm wrong on. So please save it and go back to Irakozy. Thank you very much. Travis, nobody cares if it's answering a motion or a petition. It doesn't fucking matter. We're not attorneys. We don't care. A motion, petition, we're not walking into court. We want a general idea. Nobody, if people want every single definition term, they'll go to fucking law school. They don't care. Thank you, Janelle. It's not a matter of telling him off, and I respect him. I just, like, he once came in here a long time ago. I don't even think he ever apologized, but he's telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm wrong. I said, I'm not wrong, I'm right. Because, like, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know I have a good understanding of the law. I may not be right on every little term. I don't care. But he once came in and called me a fucking idiot for, like, I didn't know what I was talking about. Meanwhile, I was so dead right that, you know, everyone else looked like an idiot, and I was right. Emotion is having a poop. Dirk's bestie, no. I am so new here. So, it's Brady, that's my point. It's not that serious. I'm not an attorney. None of you guys are attorneys. We don't care. We want a general summation of what is going on. Period. And thanks, Ravi. That's a nice one. So besides Travis, anyone have any questions? I've got about 15 minutes, 15 minutes. We ain't no lawyers. No, it's true, though. I mean, my making a murderer peeps, they don't care about the intricate little details. They They want to know that the information I'm giving them is correct. They don't care if the name is right, but they want to know the information that I'm giving them is correct, that I'm not, off the deep end telling them something that doesn't even exist. And I do that. And that's it. Done. Who's Zellner? Kathleen Zellner, Stephen Avery's attorney. We're talking about making a murderer today. Do I think he'll be granted another trial? Don, I honestly don't know. I want to say yes. I want to say that according to the law, he deserves a new trial. Does that mean it's going to happen? No. Should it happen? Yes. Exactly. Thank you, Phoebe. I explain things the way non-lawyers understand. If you were, my kids, you would understand it. And my making a murderer peeps appreciate that. Because when you're not an attorney and you start explaining things in detail, people get confused, they get lost, they think things that aren't right. You're correct. There's always rules on time frames and motions, like in a COA. She didn't file a motion yesterday. She filed a supplemental petition. No, she filed a motion. This is not a supplemental petition. She filed a motion. She's asking for a new trial. That's not a petition. That's a motion. Thank you, Karen. I do speak your English, right, Bernie? This isn't supplemental. She filed a motion. She's asking for a new trial and a recuse. You can't ask for a recuse in a petition. You can ask for a recuse in a motion. The case is in Wisconsin. That is correct. Thank you, Whitney. Okay, no one is perfect. We all want to support and have a conversation. People take it way too serious. Exactly. Yeah, Brendan, who also was convicted in the case, is the one you hear me talk about when I talk about Chris Watts. They're in the same jail. I never said you said I was stupid. You called me a fucking idiot once, and I was right, but no, I never said you thought I was stupid. Quick synopsis. This was like 41 pages, quickly synopsed. But there really wasn't anything new in this. Like, nothing at all. I really hope Mama Papa Avery do get to see him out when still alive. I really and honestly truly do. But yeah, they hey Bellamia, what was I gonna say? For those of you that aren't familiar with the case at all and know me from Chris Watts, yeah, Chris Watts is in Brendan's jail. So when I talk about Chris Watts and I always mention Brendan, that's what I'm talking about. The other half of this case. Why do they ask you, do you care if your responses are accurate? I didn't say my responses were accurate. That's not what I said. My responses are accurate. The little bullshit, like here and there, like the state is going to respond. That's fact. Whether the state has to ask the judge or not, what do you think? The judge is going to deny the state? Of course you're not going to fucking deny it. So therefore, the next step is the state's going to answer. It doesn't matter if they ask the judge or not. The bottom line is the state's going to answer. And they're going to have a certain amount of time to answer, which is exactly what I said. All the little bullshit in between doesn't matter. The bottom line is the state's going to answer. How they answer, when they answer, not the point. The point is they're going to answer, which is exactly what I said. Hey, Mac. When you move the target, it's easy to be right. I didn't move the target. Travis, the difference is, as an attorney or people, you automatically have to give every single detail of it. I don't think like that. My audience doesn't think like that. The bottom line is what I care about. All the bullshit in between doesn't matter. All the filler shit in between doesn't matter. The bottom line is what matters. You know, whether somebody... Look at Avery, for example. Avery, you know, he burned a cat. He did this. He did that. He, you know, grew up like shit. He came from low life. Blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, did he do it? No. Everything is the bottom line. I don't care about the bullshit in between. I don't care about how something gets there. It's the bottom line. The bottom line is the state's going to write. The state's going to respond. That's the bottom line. That's the next step. Whether they ask the judge or who gives a fuck if they ask the judge. The bottom line is the state will respond. Done. End of story. And that's exactly what I said. If you care, we'll ask simple as that. My nails are fading. They're like maroon, but it's fading. Any making a murder questions? I got like 5-10 minutes. I'll take any questions. Any update on Little Twin Boy? The only update that I have, which I posted about the mom, not the mom, but the Tina, she went to trial. I mean, she went for a preliminary. She's going to trial. Nothing else. Like, I wish I had more for it. There's nothing else. That's why I didn't make a video about it, because there's just nothing there. Thanks, Lucy. It's just absolutely nothing there other than so far 2 of them are now going to trial. We know Damien's going to go to trial. Now, once that trial starts, it's going to be very interesting. And I also think that the Timothy is due back in court this month. Now, I do have some other news in Frazee, though, which I'm probably going to talk about tomorrow night in Patreon. Then you guys will see it on Thursday. But Patrick Frazee, there's like a new girl that popped up from Idaho. So we don't know how much she's involved yet, but she's definitely involved somehow. We're just not sure how much or who, what, when, where, or why. But it was emerged that there is another female involved. So that's what I have there. Oh, you guys want to laugh? This is really funny, though. So I've been trying to get with Bobby Brown to do a JonBenet Ramsey thing with the guy that runs JonBenet Ramsey Investigations. So I've been talking to him on Facebook today, and he keeps showing me the stuff from the National Enquirer. Now, I don't know if overseas knows who the National Enquirer is, but they're basically the equivalent of like that article that Lynn was written up in, like from the Sun. Like total tabloids. So it talks about some new witness or whatever in jail or whatever. He's trying to tell me that it's legit. I'm like, you're showing me stuff from the National Enquirer. You're not earning credibility with me showing me something from the National Enquirer. I said, National Enquirer is fake news. They make up shit. It didn't matter. He's trying to tell me it's legit. I'm like, whatever. Bye, Kim. I know. I keep writing him. I'm like, Bobby, answer me. You're killing me. I'm just going to call him on his cell phone if he doesn't answer me by tomorrow. He usually doesn't take this long, though. But I know he's working on something. So should I take my daughter out to dinner tonight? I don't know how I'd get out of not taking the others out, though. JonBenet was killed by her brother while eating the milk and pineapple. It's very possible. Yeah, Highland, Brendan and Steven would never take an Alford plea. I mean, I don't know if Brendan would. Brendan might. I know Steven won't. He's a busy dude for sure, I know. But he usually answers me pretty quickly. The student I tutor wants to use a National Enquirer in a bibliography. Has I never told a teacher he's tutoring you? Hell yeah. But I couldn't believe it. Karen, I already asked her on Twitter. She's on Twitter. It still needs 5 minutes of fame. That whole article is such a joke. And you know what I noticed? That letter is not the same handwriting. That's not Stevens. I guarantee she wrote that or someone from there wrote that. That is definitely not Stevens. One, the spacing is totally different. In no other letter did Stevens skip every other line. The ink could be different for whatever reason, but the way the letters are written, that's definitely someone copying. That final letter is not written by Steven. I was going to do a video on it tonight, but I don't have time. That video is absolutely not Steven. That last letter is definitely not Steven. I was like, wow, how scammy is that? I always do one-on-one with my girls. I know, but I don't know if Phoenix is here. I made Phoenix not see his girlfriend for 2 days. The letter was bullshit. I'm telling you, it was. It was written so differently. I'm like, this is so fake. I'm like, so fake. This is just Lynn trying to make herself feel relevant. Because she's so irrelevant. So don't forget, tonight I'm on Diane's channel. If she doesn't cancel, because lately she's been canceling. I don't really use Twitter either, but if you need to get in touch. Yeah, she's the same name on Twitter. Can you explain what an Alford plea is? An Alford plea is... I'll give you the legal definition as compared to what I think it is, what I believe it is. Alford plea is when you're pleading guilty, but I'm trying to remember the legal definition without having to look it up. But it's like when you plead guilty, but you're getting out of jail for whatever reason. Like, from what I understand, it's technically when the prosecution really doesn't have enough against you, or like if... it's been 15 years and the only evidence that they had would have disintegrated, something like that. So they give you an Alford plea to show that you're still guilty. But you do get out of prison because if they retried you, they probably couldn't win. But they know you want out of prison. But in my personal opinion, what's an Alford plea? When a state knows you're innocent, and they have no evidence to retry you and prove that you're guilty, and they don't want you suing them, so they give you an Alford plea to say, so you're still walking around guilty, you can't sue the state, but the state knows if they retried you, they'd lose. That's it in a nutshell. She didn't get paid $5,000 for Dr. Phil. I made a live. You did make a live. One that's ending in literally 3 minutes. Basically, you're saying you agree there's enough evidence for conviction, but not guilty. What is Diane's channel called? Diane's channel. I love the blonde. Thank you. Let's do it. It's actually still... I don't like my lighting. I don't know why it looks like shit when I see it. And I'm not wearing black, although it kind of looks like I'm wearing black, but I'm not. Mom without a watch. Yeah, it's called Diane's channel. But I really think Alford pleas are bullshit. I really do. I think they're nothing more than the state doesn't want to get sued, period. Thank you, Giggles. You peed guilty? You pee guilty? You plead guilty. I know what you meant. And you get out of jail free card and no money. It's exactly right. But, you know, the whole thing with Alford pleas that are so stupid is if, you know, they're saying that, oh, you're guilty, but you get out of free. Well, if you were that guilty, why are you not a menace to society? That's how I know it's all about money. Thanks, Bella. No, like, when I watch it now, it looks all choppy and like shit. At 3 minutes, I'm ending. I have to go to some meeting at my kid's school about camp this summer that he's probably not going to go to anyway, but he wants me to go listen. An off plea in United States law is a guilty plea in criminal court whereby a defendant in a criminal case does not admit to the criminal act and asserts innocence. Okay. Which tells me, and that's a good example, because that tells me exactly what I said is correct. That it's all about money. Because just because I say I'm innocent doesn't mean you're going to let me go run the streets. You're only going to let me go run the streets if you can't really prove that I'm guilty. Exactly. But can state you were innocent. Yeah, you could say you're innocent all you want, but you signed a thing saying you're guilty. Bella, really? I curse all the time. It is a safety net for the state. Yep, they took Alford place. So did my girl, Nora Jackson. She's fighting it with, what's it called? Innocent Project in New York. I'm always drawn to New Yorkers. I think it's because I'm from London. Now, London has the great accents. Is it the same school you lost to Charm? No, different school. Check with the office in case someone found it. Oh, actually, it is the same school, but we were in the back in the cafeteria. I'm telling you, I think I lost it in TJ Maxx. I remember hearing something fall, and I thought I dropped something. I was looking at different charms today, though. I think I'm going to order one. A different one. And, like, number one dad or something. But then I thought maybe people are going to think I'm, like, a guy. You know, not that they would, but you know what I mean. Like, but I think I'm going to do something in honor of him and take this necklace. Because at least I still have the necklace part of it. You know, like my mom said, at least you still have the necklace. When I lost the bracelet, I lost everything. So I think I'm going to somehow, like, put this chain in a locket and tie it on with, like, some kind of dad pendant, you know, or, like, you know, missing pendant or something like that on a brand new chain. But I'm definitely going to take this necklace so I don't lose it or it doesn't get caught and put it in a locket. Alford plea is a scam. I absolutely agree with that. Oh, Ash, you know Nora? I love that case. Where you find it when you lose something else. That's true. I've done that too, Ash. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because, I mean, the necklace, even though it's solid, it's thin. And I don't want any, I mean, something fell off. So I don't want to worry. You know, I don't want to lose it. I always want to keep it close to my heart. But I figure if I wrap it up and put it in a locket, I won't lose it. Already a Patreon, just silent one. Don't catch too many lives. The staircase is guilty. Guilty. All right, guys, 5:11. I got to get out of here. I got to be there at 5:30. Thank God it's only around the corner. So don't forget, guys, go over to Diane's channel tonight. I think it's like at 8 or 9. I'm not even sure if it's Eastern or not. But go over to Diane's channel and become a Patreon if you're not already. Tomorrow night, I'm going to do something special with the Patreons. We're going to test out doing a video of Patreon only. And I got to start uploading some videos instead of just doing lives all the time. But that's it. So I will see you guys on tonight. And if for some reason Diane cancels, I'll do something. All right? So merch is coming. It's coming. I promise. It's coming soon. And I will see you guys later. You said you found a part of it. I found a tiny, tiny piece of the clasp, if it even goes to it. Like, it could have gone to other things. I don't know. So, but I'll see you guys tonight on Diane's channel. Patreon is a cool way you said to Brian, you are a real friend. He doesn't want to listen. He just wants to get mad at me over and over and over. And I don't know why. You know, I do like Brian. I think what he did was wrong. And I'm not going to take that back. Like, I think he acted like a fucking 2-year-old. It doesn't mean that, you know, you don't call another man's house. I don't care how long you've been talking to the wife. You don't call another man's house and disrespect them. Sorry, you just don't. I'm call me old fashioned like that, but you just don't. So, all right, I'll see you guys tonight. Peace out. What?